Mercruiser 3.0. Engine was brought to us pretty much fully dressed. Somebody else rebuilt it. We don't know anything about it. And the customer brought a lot of new parts with it. We put all the pieces together, put the transom assembly back together, serviced the drive, put it in. This is a pontoon boat, 2002 model. Had a few problems with the fuel pressure, and really it was just the missing spacer on the fuel pump. That can cause excessive pressure. And let me see if I can get a picture of that down there. So between those two green gaskets is a spacer, and without that spacer on the 3.0 you exhibit too much fuel pressure, which will cause the carb to load up. Now this engine's carburetor is not in the best of condition. It's rebuilt. Customer supplied us with a couple of carb kits and we used them. You know, not trying to be rude, but not the best quality carb kits, and we feel like the carburetor is probably, you know, suffering elsewhere. But you know, not knowing a lot of history here, just putting it together for the customer to get it running, and we've got it back in, we got it running. And lots of new parts, you know, thermostat housing, thermostat, raw water, circulation pump, of course, a raw water pump, new alternator down there, you know, oil filter, fuel pump, fuel oil sending unit, new exhaust manifold, new riser, new gimbal bearing, you know, lots of things. So he did the best he could to buy all the components to get this in good shape. We had some trim ram problems. Trim rams were seized, so we put a couple used ones on there. They seemed to work fine. And we purged that pump. It had a lot of water in it, so we purged it, got everything cleaned up and running. Drained the fuel cell, put some new fuel in. It's got about 3 gallons in it right now. We're gonna start this thing. It's running a little bit. Anyway, starts right up. So there's our gauges. Our temperature is good. We ran this a few minutes already, so the temperature looks good. The voltage is, you know, just under 13, and the oil pressure, it just pegs the gauge instantly. So it's either got a ton of oil pressure or the gauge is bad, and our fuel gauge is inaccurate because we only have about 3 gallons of fuel in it. So he's got some other things that are gonna need repaired on this boat. The goal here was to get the engine running and get that in, and a few other minor issues, and just bring whatever else to the customer's attention. So we're gonna put this in gear. We're in gear. Now these 3.0s, they idle pretty poorly, some of them. The newer ones with the electronic carb, they idle pretty smooth. These earlier carbureted ones, they idle a little rough. Now this thing will stabilize a little bit, you know, off and on, it'll run smooth, then not, and we believe that's due to the carburetor, and you know, maybe plugs are affected after they've been running rich, since we had a fuel problem. We've got a little water down in the bilge because we had a loose bolt in the back and that allowed some water to come in, so we repaired that. And but that water will drain it out as soon as we're out of the pond here. So we a little bit laggy on response, but now if we just flat foot it, it'll kind of want to die, or if we chop the throttle, it'll want to die. We've adjusted the idle mixture and the ignition timing, and feel comfortable. The engine runs smoothly at speeds, flowing nicely, nice and smooth, nice and quiet. So that's all good. We'll shower down a little bit more. That's about 2,000 RPMs. It's got a big propeller, so it's only going to turn about 3,000 in the tank at this load, but that's a pretty extreme load. And the boat is bucking around in the run tank. We're moving the boat a little bit. Full throttle, and you can hear it's kind of lugging, bogging. If we had a smaller propeller on it, we could get the RPMs up. But we want to load this thing up and watch temperature, etc. Seems to be running good. Temperature looks good. Really cool. Voltage still the same. Oil pressure still the same. Now, when we chop the throttle like that, she dies, okay? And I relate that to the carburetor. And usually start right. It starts up and it's gonna sit there and shake and run like crap because it's loaded up with fuel. But it's running okay. And after it runs for a minute, it'll stabilize, but they do shake and vibrate. But as soon as you give them under a load, they're just as smooth as glass. That's set. Let's check it in reverse. There's reverse. We don't want to blow a bunch of water over the boat. As soon as you give them a little gas, they smooth right out. And I don't know if it's the idle circuits in the car, but like I said, spark plugs or whatever. But we're in reverse right now. Really smooth. That might be a good investment for him to get a new carburetor or something that's been rebuilt already and it's got a better history on the carburetor. Go back to forward gear. You can hear that carburetor bog down, and then I had to pedal it. So we really don't like the carburetor to do that. We want the carburetor to be on the tap all the time. And I mean, he might be able to put a little runtime on this and it might get better. But we just don't know. We'll leave that up to the customer. Anyway, that's it, 3.0 and a pontoon boat.